Hey there, writing buddies. Michael here with another video for Mr. Swaim. Today we're going to be talking about writer's block and how to beat it. Now I'll be honest with you, I do have a bit of an unpopular opinion when it comes to writer's block, and that is that I don't really think that writer's block is a real thing. Now what I mean by that is that, no one's ever going to go to the doctor and say, hey doc, I got a bad case of writer's block. I don't know what to do. And there's not going to be any doctor who's going to respond to that going, oh, writer's block, I've got, 5 different medications that are perfect for writer's block. No, what's going to happen is that doctor is probably going to ask you some more questions. They're going to drill down into what's really causing that writer's block. And so that is my viewpoint, is that writer's block is a symptom and not an actual diagnosis. That being said, here are my 5 tips on how to get around writer's block. The number 1 tip I have for you here is just to write anyways. Okay, just keep writing, just start writing, just keep going. It is the number 1 thing that works for me. I typically run into writer's block in one of 2 ways. The first is where I just really don't want to write. I don't really feel like it. I don't feel inspired. I don't feel motivated to do it right. So I just don't really want to do it. The second type is where I am kind of just stuck on a paragraph or a sentence even, where I know what I want to, I know what is in my brain, but it's not coming out on the page quite right. It's not coming out right. And I want my OCD or my, like, whatever it is inside of me that's like, it just puts a block on all continuation. I just have to stop and I have to get this right before I continue on, even though no one's going to read this. It's my first draft, and I'm going to come back and fix it later, but for some reason my brain's like, no, we can't continue until it's perfect. Now this might just be an issue for pantsers, or maybe more of an issue for pantsers than it is for plotters. I tend to find myself having this issue more in the case of when I'm, starting a story, because I have my ending, I know where I want to go, but getting there is the journey, and starting and kind of finding my way onto the path is a little hard sometimes. So sometimes, I feel like I get stuck, but what gets me through is just powering through and continue writing. And I would rather write something that's, total trash and have to, basically forego an hour's worth of writing than not write at all. Because basically if I write for an hour, I can get back into the flow of things, and I can probably write a few more hours of actual good content that I'll keep. So just pushing through that gets me back into that flow, which goes into the next point, and that is, remember that writing is a flow. It is a process. It's a creative and artistic expression. Every type of creative, artistic expression, they all have a flow to them. And if you're experiencing some type of block, in our case writer's block, then that just means that we are not in that flow. So remembering that writing is a flow, and that basically in order to get back to writing, to get back to where you want to be, you just need to find your way into that flow. And again, that could be in the form of just kind of forcing it to happen, right? Kind of like fake it till you make it kind of thing, right? Just write until that flow hits, or well, I should say until you hit the flow. Before I get into number 3, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Help other authors find this. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Number 3 is read. Reading for me helps me get back into the flow of things because it takes me back to the source. For a lot of writers, including myself, we found our love of writing by our love of reading. Now, I would suggest that you read something that is inside of the genre, or also, even if you can, subgenres of your current project. Though I do say probably don't read your own writing, because a lot of times when we read our own writing, we can start picking things out that we wish we could change, or that we want to edit, or whatever, right? So probably don't read something that you could edit or that you would be inclined to feel that way. You want to read in the manner that is, reading for your own benefits, just reading for the experience of reading. But in doing this, we are getting our brain especially, accustomed to words. We're dealing with words, we're dealing with sentences, we're dealing with construction of paragraphs and pages. And that's really going to get our mind back to help us get into the flow of writing. Number 4 is talk to somebody. Now, I'm not exactly saying that you need to go to therapy, although for some of us that might help. But what I'm really meaning is just have a conversation with somebody. Just sitting down, talking to your spouse, talking to your best friend, whoever. Having that conversation can help just basically get your mind off of that block, help get your mind out of that rut that you're finding yourself in. And once you've, had that conversation with somebody, at that point, you probably would be able to go back to your writing and kind of start over and, get back into that flow again. And number 5 is prayer or meditation. Again, depending on what's actually causing the block, going deep and finding, touching the spiritual, that could help out a lot. Some people might think that this is too much, but, I get that, all we're trying to do is just write a silly story about some girl who's falling in love and she's trying to kill her most, deeply hated adversary while also, leading a kingdom and also raising her little sister. But whatever it is, just, remember that Yahweh is the center of all creation. That is the source of all of our creativity. And if you don't really believe in Yahweh, that's okay. That's your decision. Again, meditation might be something that's better for you in that regard, as far as, getting back in touch with the spiritual self. But, I can't really speak to that. That's not what I personally do. However you deal with writer's block, just remember that it is a natural process in writing. You're going to run up against this wall. But also remember that this wall is not impenetrable. It can be beaten. Let me know in the comments below how you deal with writer's block. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more videos. And until next time, happy writing, happy reading.